What the hell are you?
I am Venom.
Venom: The Last Dance, the final film in the trilogy, is finally here, so here's a deep dive into the character to help further enjoy the film. There will be absolutely zero spoilers beyond what is seen in the trailers in this video. Let's go. Symbiote Origin. In the film, the symbiote was housed in a spacecraft owned by the Life Foundation. They retrieved several symbiotes on their expedition, but one of them escaped and bonded with one of the pilots, leading to the crash on Earth and allowing the symbiotes to inhabit the planet. The head pilot was John Jameson, the son of J. Jonah Jameson. This scene is a nod to Spider-Man the Animated Series, where the Venom symbiote came to Earth from a spaceship piloted by none other than John Jameson. This time, however, they did not know the symbiote was on board and it was trying to bond with the pilots, resulting in a crash landing. The symbiote was born on planet Klyntar, where Knull comes from. More on that later. Eddie Brock and Venom. In the movies, Eddie Brock was a passionate investigative reporter of the Brock Report.
Hey, Richard! Looking good!
Eddie, you can't park there, bro.
Come on, man.
We know he was successful because his bosses said there isn't a better investigative reporter working today, but hinted at past issues due to him also saying they were the only group willing to take him in. Eddie Brock's fiance later said to take the job seriously and not repeat the Daily Globe incident, which most likely led to his reputation being tarnished and a few media outlets willing to hire him.
You're fired!
Similar to Ben Urich from Daredevil, Eddie Brock put stories before his career, which is admirable, but perhaps not the smartest move considering how this led to him losing his job. A disgruntled employee who remembers Eddie being an investigative reporter who looked into a company reaches out to him hoping he can help. Since people's lives are allegedly being thrown away, he decided to see what was happening for himself. He enters the facility only to see human prisoners used as lab rats. While trying to save one of them, a symbiote leaves its host and bonds with Eddie. This is significant because up to this point, every host with whom the symbiote joined died soon after. In this case, it was a perfect symbiosis. One of the symbiotes has found a compatible host. Immediately, Eddie is able to interact with the symbiote, he has access to multiple abilities, and his instincts are greatly enhanced. It definitely is a lopsided relationship, however. The symbiote can read Eddie's mind, but Eddie can only see the thoughts Venom wants him to see. But in contrast, without Eddie, the symbiote will perish.
How do you even know about that?
I know everything, Eddie.
We see growth in the first film, however. After the Venom symbiote got to know Eddie Brock and what he stood for, he not only adopted a new philosophy, but abandoned his goals of stealing a spaceship and leaving the planet. He said on his planet he was a loser like Eddie.
You are a loser, Eddie.
But on this planet, working together, they could be something more. Symbiotes are able to produce a certain number of offspring, and once they hit that threshold, they are done. Typically, the offspring is stronger than the parent. Carnage is a perfect example of this. He's more immune to Venom's weaknesses, faster, stronger, and more durable. With all of this in mind, let's talk about Venom's abilities. Venom is incredibly capable and powerful. The movie version reflects much of what we've seen in the original stories, even though Spider-Man isn't part of his backstory. Venom has immense super strength, enough to throw people through walls and completely crush massive vehicles just by landing on them. His strength is terrifying, making him nearly an unstoppable force in close combat. In the original stories, his best strength feat was getting the upper hand on Superman in a crossover.
I got us.
Oh.
Literally. He's also incredibly durable. able to withstand heavy machine gun fire even at point-blank range without flinching. Venom doesn't need oxygen, so he can survive in extreme environments like space or underwater, and he's immune to most, if not all, types of toxins. And as if that wasn't enough, he has night vision, meaning he can see you when you can't see him. The Spider-Man connection. The symbiote was originally introduced in a Spider-Man story, and the Venom symbiote permanently kept Spider-Man's traits and emblem despite the host. Canonically, in the original stories, Deadpool was the first host of the symbiote, and their bond is what made the symbiote a bit loopy. This characteristic is consistent with symbiotes, as we see the Carnage symbiote become irreversibly corrupt and evil after its longtime bond with Cletus Cassidy. Spider-Man bonded with the symbiote on Battleworld after he unknowingly used a device designed to repair and create technology, thinking it was a costume-making machine. The symbiote emerged from the machine and attached itself to him, becoming his new black suit. Battleworld is the planet featured in the original Secret Wars storyline, which very well could be a reality in the upcoming Avengers Secret Wars movie. The symbiote bonded to Spider-Man for several months and permanently adopted his powers and magnified them. This can be seen after Peter Parker rejected the symbiote and it joined with Eddie Brock. A visible spider emblem is seen on his chest. He shoots webbing like Spider-Man and can essentially do anything he can do, but better. Eddie Brock hated Peter Parker, and the symbiote felt utterly betrayed by him, amplified their hatred for Spider-Man in unparalleled ways, to the point where Eddie believed he was justified in kidnapping and threatening Peter's innocent loved ones. In the original stories, they eventually brokered an uneasy peace and went their separate ways. Spider-Man would protect his domain, which was the greater New York area, and Venom would have to become a lethal vigilante on the other side of the country. Other hosts. Eddie Brock is the most prominent host for the Venom symbiote, and to my understanding, the only human the Venom symbiote permanently bonded with. Agent Venom is probably the second most known iteration of Venom, and I would not be surprised if we see this version in future movies. Flash Thompson, someone who bullied Peter Parker in high school, gets injured in war and loses his legs. The experience humbles him and makes his character more complex. When the Venom symbiote joins Flash Thompson has enough control to become Venom and not falter to the homicidal instincts. He becomes government sanctioned and only takes out others permanently in situations when it's appropriate for law enforcement to do so. Mac Gargan, also known as the Scorpion, is the third most known iteration of Venom. He is the most famous for impersonating Spider-Man during his time on Norman Osborn's Avengers team. This was a dangerous combination and brought out the worst instincts out of both of them, neither looking to be restrained. There have been many other hosts, ranging from Anne Wang, Patricia Robertson, Rocket Raccoon, and many others, but most of these were very short-lived. Knull and Klyntar. Knull is the god of the symbiotes and the creator of their entire species, including Venom. He predates the current universe, existing in the primordial void before the Celestials brought light and life to the universe. In retaliation against the Celestials, Knull forged the first symbiote, a living sword called All Black, and used it to wage war against them. Knull later created the symbiotes as an extension of his dark will, intending to spread chaos across the cosmos. However, over time, the symbiotes evolved, developing morality and individual consciousness after bonding with various hosts. Eventually, the symbiotes rebelled against Knull, trapping him on the planet Klyntar, which they formed as both a planet and his prison. Venom is a complicated, fun character, and according to Tom Hardy, The Last Dance will be his final hurrah, but I suspect the symbiote story is only beginning.
From Marvel to monsters, we cover it all. In the world of entertainment, we stand tall. Movie talk now, join the fun and let's go. Disco lights are flashing, feel the energy. In the realm of movies, we're the ones to beat. The heroes to creatures, our guns are neat. DC or Marvel, we're always in sync. At Movie Talk now, let's raise a drink.